Now, grouping text and element in a block. Grouping text and element in a block. Now you want to put some element, okay? It could be paragraph, it could be image, it could be headings, but you want to put a group of them, more than one of them, in one particular container. So that's what we call a div, okay? So the div element allows you to group a set of elements together in one block level box. For example, you might create a div element to contain all of the elements for the header of your website. That means the logo, the navigation, or you might create a div element to contain comments from visitors. So it will put all of them in one box of what? Div. The div box can be used to group any element together, and the div element also will start on a new line. So in other words, it is what? It is a block element as well. Okay, you can also give a div element an attribute of ID or class. When you do this thing, you want to what? You can also create CSS style rules to indicate how much space a div box should what? Occupy on the screen, and change the appearance of all the elements contained within it. So instead of doing paragraphs and then giving them ID elements, you can decide to what? Put all your paragraphs that you want, okay, in a div, and give a div either an ID, then style that particular div in CSS. So when you start only the div, it is going to affect the div and all other elements it contains. Now let's see the div in action. I have grouped a certain group of elements together in a div. Okay, so this is the beginning of my div. This is the opening tag, and I've given it an ID of what? Header. I've placed all my header information, including my banner, okay, and some list of what? Some links, okay, in the div. So the div ends here. This is an unordered list, and these are my list items. All these elements have been put together, including an image, into what? Into an element called div. And I can style this div. Anytime I style this div in CSS, it applies to all these other elements within the div. Let me save this. Okay, so you can see the banner shows here, and you can see the individual links I have done. Okay, all these lists, I've put them together in one particular div. So from this place, it's like all of them have become one single element. I've grouped them together to become one single element, and I can style them together. That is the use of div. And div also, I've told you, is a block element, so it starts on a new line.